Hey guys, welcome back to Chaos Core Tech. My name's Garrett, and today we're going to be making Mr. Poopybutthole from Rick and Morty.
Hoo-wee, what a cliffhanger. Oh boy, oh my. That's a real crazy ending, huh? Hi, I'm Mr. Poopybutthole from episode 204.
And quickly, before we jump into the modeling footage, one, I wanted to apologize if you hear any beeps. There's heavy machinery moving around outside, so not much I can do about that. But two, I actually modeled Mr. Poopybutthole during a live stream that I do over on Twitch. So you'll see my head down in the corner. Sorry if it's a little distracting. It'll be moving really fast because I have to speed the footage up. And then in terms of the modeling itself, I modeled it in ZBrush, and it's actually a pretty simple model if you know what you're doing with Z-spheres, because most of the body was Z-spheres. Really the only sculpting that I did was on the head, and that was even mostly just the mouth. So let's get into it. Also, quick interjection here. One of the most common comments I get on these Rick and Morty ones is telling me that the pupils are not round. And in all of my previous ones, I have not made the pupils round. It's just, you know, when you print them, because especially since like Rick was printed FDM, the details just don't come out, so they kind of look round. But none of them have been round. They've all been the crazy asterisk shape that all of the Rick and Morty models have been. But taking that into account, I definitely tried to make the pupils a little more pronounced on this one, and I think it actually turned out pretty good. Okay, so now the model is complete. I've exported it out of ZBrush, and now I'm going to be printing it on the Peopoly Moai. So there's quite a few steps I have to take in between exporting from ZBrush and printing on the Moai. And adding supports is kind of a huge topic, and I'm still not super good at it. So I'm going to save that for a future video. But what I'm going to focus on today is hollowing out the model. And this is different for a lot of different models. Mostly based on the size of your model and if you need it to be strong in any spots or anything like that. But for Mr. Poopybutthole, it's pretty simple. You can see I've opened him up here in Meshmixer. So if we come over here and click the edit icon, there's an option here called hollow, and that's pretty much all we need to use. I'll click it, it'll do some calculating, and when it's done, you can see the sort of mesh that it creates on the inside. And it doesn't need to be pretty because it's on the inside. And you can change the offset distance from the walls and stuff like that. Generally, I've found that the 2mm works pretty well. I haven't really encountered any issues with that yet. But making it hollow doesn't really give you much benefit when you're working with resin unless you have entry and exit holes. And for something like Mr. Poopybutthole, his legs are really tiny. So I can't really go small enough to have the holes in his feet, because you can see that the hollow on the inside barely goes into his legs at all. So we're definitely going to have one on top of his hat, because that's a natural leaving point. But I think we're going to have to give Mr. Poopybutthole a butthole. In order to do that, you can just click this generate holes, and it'll add two. I believe you can double click to add more. double click to remove, but I think 2 will work for us in this case, and then you can just click and drag them around to reposition them. So I'm just going to go right underneath, like I said I would, and then this one just needs to go right up on top on the head, and I think that'll work well. And after we're done printing this and everything is cured, Chelsey will actually fill the holes with wood filler. So I'm going to go ahead and click accept, and we can see what the final results will look like. Okay, so you can see that the outside of the mesh remains pretty unchanged. Just on the top here we have a hole, so you can see right through them. And then of course on the bottom side we have a hole as well. And these holes basically just allow air to get in to allow the trapped resin on the inside to flow out. And that'll do a couple of things. It will help us save some resin because he's hollow on the inside. And also uncured resin on the inside can cause some pressure changes, causing the parts to crack and stuff like that. So it'll just be a lot better this way. If you guys are interested in this type of thing and want to know more about the processes and reasons behind some of the stuff we do with resin printing, I'm definitely not an expert on the subject, but I know enough to at least do it. So let me know down in the comments if you're interested, and I can make some videos on that type of thing. So from here, I just export it out, and then I use XYZWare Nobel to add in the supports. And then he's pretty much ready to go. I slice him in the Moai edition of Cura and load it onto the SD card. And I also did want to call out, he's not going to be super stable because he doesn't have a base yet, and I am going to be creating a base for all the Rick and Morty characters in an upcoming video. So without further ado, we'll get this thing printed, cleaned, cured, and then Chelsey will work her magic in painting this thing. Alright guys, well here he is. This is Mr. Poopybutthole. I absolutely love him in the show. He's always super funny. And the episode where they introduced him, I'm not going to spoil it because it was really funny, but you should definitely watch it. Okay, and I know I said this once before and it didn't exactly hold true, but I'm really going to try to create these more frequently. So let me know down in the comments who you would like to see from Rick and Morty. Alright guys, well that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, get subscribed below, and ring that little bell icon so YouTube will notify you when I put out new videos. Also, a huge thank you to my patrons who help make these videos possible. If you'd like to support this channel, I will put a link to our Patreon down there. And we also just started a Teespring store, so if you want to get official Chaos Core Tech merch, we've got some shirts, some mugs, some really cool things over there. So check it out, link is down in the description. Alright guys, well thank you for watching, and until next time, keep creating.